HoustonFloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning I have two guests. I have Steve Merrick, the former owner of Somerset and owner of Merrick Lumber, and Patrick Hardy, the CEO of Bauwerk Group. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Good, Kemp. How are you?
Good, Kemp.
I'm good. It's good to talk to you guys. I wanted to talk to you based on this news. You announced that the Bauwerk Group has bought Somerset. That's a big news story in this industry. Let me start with introductions. Steve, you graduated from the University of Kentucky and got straight into the wood business all the way back 40 years ago. And then in 1990, you started Somerset, and you've been running it ever since. Patrick, you're fairly new to the wood business. You're the CEO of the Bauwerk Group. You've been there 9 months, and you spent 11 years prior to that with Victorinox, the Swiss Army knife company, right?
Yes, that's correct, Kemp.
Well, welcome to the flooring business. Let's start with, how did this come about as far as the decision to sell Somerset to the Bauwerk Group?
Well, Kemp, we started talking to the Bauwerk Group about some of their products and helping them market a few of their products in the United States. One thing led to another, and the topic came up from Klaus Brammertz, their CEO at the time, about would we be interested in discussing a potential sale. We really weren't looking to do that at the time, and then we kind of picked the discussion up again in early 2022. So here we are. We thought that the Bauwerk Group was a really good company and it was a fit. It would be good for our employees. Paul Stringer, our VP of Sales and Marketing for 22 years, was going to stay on and be the president of the company. It was a good fit. So here we are, and we've put the company in good hands.
And Patrick, just a little bit more background on Bauwerk. You have manufacturing facilities in Switzerland, Lithuania, and Croatia. And so this establishes you with a manufacturing base here in this country, and that's probably the primary strategy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's not only the production part of it, but also the market part of it, of course, because we were looking to geographically diversify our markets. We are very heavy in Europe, depending on the Swiss market, German market, and the Scandinavian market. And we were already looking for a longer time to diversify geographically. So this is a perfect fit for us.
And you already have, you have 1,600 employees, and your annual turnover prior to this acquisition was $300 million. That's in Swiss. How many is that in dollars, annual turnover?
Swiss to dollar is about the same.
Okay. So this was effective May 1st. Steve, will you now become a supplier through Merrick Lumber to this organization?
Kemp, we have retained, we had several other companies in and around the forest products industry, and we're changing, the name of some of our companies to Merrick Hardwoods. So we've still got timber holdings, sawmills, lumber companies. We do a lot of lumber exporting to the Asian countries and the European countries. We kept our biofuel division, and we also have unfinished flooring division. We'll have several hundred employees, honestly.
But you're stepping away from the Somerset organization.
Yes. I think they've got Paul Stringer still here, being the president and CEO, and obviously Dan's joined the company, and I believe they're going to have a really good U.S. management team going forward.
Yeah, you mentioned Dan. That's Dan Natkin, who spent many years at Mannington and moved over here about a year ago. So what changes will we see from a product and personnel perspective, Patrick?
Well, for the time being, not that many, because we took over a good functioning and a successful company with great people. So that is a fact. So for the time being, let the company be run further as it is, and use the time in the next 12 to 18 months to look and evaluate what can be done. But for the next 12 to 18 months, we are not going to make any quick changes whatsoever.
Very interesting. I know that there's the solid hardwood manufacturing that's in Somerset, and then you have engineered hardwood in Crossville, Tennessee. So those two operations will continue to run, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I know you have three brands. You have the Bauwerk Parquet, which I think is a European brand. And then you have Bowen, which we've been selling in this country, mostly engineered for multifamily. And now you have the Somerset brand. So you'll continue with those?
Yes, definitely. So all these three brands, they have a right of existence, so to say. That's how it stays. We were in the U.S. market with Bowen, and now Somerset and Bowen will also continue to stay on the U.S. market.
All right. And so you'll still offer both solid and engineered in this market?
Yes.
And will sales go through distribution in this market, or what's your channel to market?
Yes, definitely. So this will also not change. This will stay the same. We'll go through the distribution.
And as mentioned earlier, Paul Stringer is the president of Somerset. So I guess Paul and Dan will be working closely together here in this country, right?
Yeah, definitely. So Paul is a great guy as well as Dan. So we're very happy to have them. There's a lot of expertise, as you said before, and they're going to run the show here.
All right, what is your outlook for the rest of this year for growth in this business here in the U.S.?
Of course, we see a huge potential here and good growth in the engineered wood, hardwood flooring.
So this satisfies, I guess, one of the key issues that Bauwerk Group had before, which is the whole supply chain logistics. Now you make it here and you'll sell it here. That's one of the biggest benefits of this situation, right?
Yes, it is. You need the whole value chain. That is important.
So, Patrick, one last question. I know you're going to have two brands that have visibility here in the U.S., both the Bowen and the Somerset brand. Will you keep those operating separately at this point?
Yes, we will. Both brands have the right existence and also the difference in the distribution, but there's some distribution where both brands come together. But we have the feeling that this will strengthen both brands if they're together in that same distribution.
Okay, Steve, I guess this is somewhat of a farewell, and I'm sad to say that because I've actually been on a houseboat with you up in Lake Cumberland, so I guess we won't see as much of you in the industry, will we?
Well, actually, probably not as much, Kemp, but, obviously I'll be still around all of the lumber side and forest products meetings. I'll still be around the NWFA show. Have no intention to retire or exit the industry in whole, so you'll still see me around a little bit.
All right. Well, congratulations, guys, on this news that Bauwerk has bought Somerset. Again, been talking to Steve Merrick and Patrick Hardy, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.